Oh boy, God's back at it again. He said something to me recently that was so convicting, I had to share it. He said, "Why are you failing to help people that you have seen?" Let me share the whole story. Last week, I woke up and for some reason I felt really uneasy. And I knew immediately that it was a spiritual type of uneasiness. It wasn't some random bout of anxiety or anything like that. And I was barely awake and I was feeling it straight away. So it was pretty concerning, and I lay in bed for a tiny bit, praying, trying to figure out what it was about. But eventually, I had to turn around to God, and I was like, "Hey, like, look, I gotta get up and start my day, like, but I trust that you'll let me know what this is about, what's going on, kind of thing." Anyhow, I get up and I'm still trying to wrestle through these feelings, still trying to navigate them, figure out why I'm having them. But the first thing I do is I go to the kitchen to splash some water on my face. And as I'm going out of the kitchen, immediately I feel the urge to just get down on my knees and pray. Because as much as I didn't want to admit it, the feeling that I was getting was that I had perhaps done something wrong. And now it didn't feel like God was angry, but it felt like I was neglecting something or I had done something wrong in His eyes. So I'm on my knees and I'm praying to the Lord. I'm like, "Lord, I don't know what this is about. Like, can you show me what's up? Show me why I'm feeling this way." I keep praying and I start apologizing and genuinely being remorseful, but I still wasn't sure what for. And then He reminded me of how I was planning to volunteer at the local prison. It was something I was moved to do a little while ago, a couple months ago. I even had a meeting with the volunteer coordinator and everything. But there was a hiccup that would have made volunteering significantly more difficult. And once I found that out, I kind of put it on the back burner until I could hopefully address it. But he said something to me that was just really convicting in that moment. As soon as he reminded me that I was going to go volunteer, he said, "Why are you failing to help the people that you've seen need help?" And what I realized was I had told myself that maybe it wasn't God's plan, or maybe it wasn't God's plan for me to do this now. I told myself, "Oh, I'll give it time and I'll wait for the Lord to either build up the desire in me to volunteer again or remove it completely or to get rid of this obstacle." But the truth was that fire to volunteer and help people that I kind of see needed help was burning out on its own, and that wasn't God's doing. Because what He also pointed out to me was, when is it ever wrong to do good? So, without realizing it, I hid behind all these excuses, all these reasons that I thought looked like faith, but weren't. I had told myself that the obstacle that got in the way of me volunteering might be God closing the door, when it wasn't. Because I realize now if it was Him, He would have shut it definitively, not with some obstacle that I simply didn't want to deal with. So that's why I'm sharing this with you today, because I don't want you to make the same mistake I made. And I hope we all learn to ask ourselves regularly if there's someone or someones that we are failing to help. And pray for me. Pray that I and anyone else with the Lord's Spirit within them never fail to go out of their way for those around them. Jesus didn't shy away from the cross. We know He wanted to, but He didn't. So let's not shy away from ours. God bless and take care.